everybody, Daniel Moznett here with Cowboy Charcoal, and we've got a bacon-wrapped filet for you today with a little brown butter and bacon sauce. Man, I can't wait to dig into this thing because I love this recipe. It's absolutely fantastic. What you want to do, though, is when you wrap the filet in bacon, you have to make sure that you spend enough time and cook the outside of the bacon so it gets crispy, because there's nothing worse than having a nice, beautiful filet and then soggy bacon. Nobody likes soggy bacon. So let's show you how to do this. We've got our Hasty Bake grill going. We've raised the grill inside the briquettes. We've got those all the way to the top, so we've got a real hot left side of the grill, and then we have no briquettes over here, so we've got a little cooler right side of the grill. So we've got a 2-zone fire working again. 2-zone fire is going to be one of your best friends when you're out there on the grill, because it's easy to cook things hot and fast and then slow things down if you need to cook a little bit more to an internal temperature. So we're gonna cook these today to about 130, because I like my fillets a little bit on the rare side. So 125, 130, and then we're gonna just drizzle it with a nice hot bacon and butter sauce. So let's show you how to do it. So to get started with the fillets, because they're gonna take a little bit longer to cook, we've got a couple of prime fillets, and you can see these just look fantastic. You're gonna wanna make sure you season them before you wrap them in bacon. So just a little bit of olive oil just to help the seasoning stick, and coat all of it. A little bit there, a little bit more olive oil, just so you get a nice good coat. You just want it to glisten. If it's glistening, then you know you've got enough just to make your salt and pepper stick. I don't like adding anything to my filet. Sometimes to a porterhouse or a New York strip, I'll add some other seasonings. To a filet, I just like to add salt and pepper, because you just want to make sure that that flavor comes all the way through. So a little bit of salt, and make sure you're a little generous with the salt. It's going to cook off, so don't worry about it. Okay, all sides. And the higher you raise your hand, the more evenly you're going to coat your food. It's a little harder when you're outside because that wind takes it away, but there we go. Okay, so now that we've got it seasoned, right? You've patted it in, and you've got a nice round. You want to make sure you hold your shape as much as you can, and you're seasoned around all sides of your filet, okay? We'll just take one piece of bacon and wrap it around, and we're gonna make sure you get both ends held in with a toothpick, and leave the toothpick out enough so you don't lose it, number one, and number two, you don't forget to take it out. Okay, we'll put that one in right about there. Okay, so now we've got our bacon wrapped filet. Again, make sure we get a nice shape. We've got a good shape there, and we're gonna wrap the bacon right around the filet. Now, some people will cook the bacon a little bit before they put it on. That's fine. That's too much work for me. I don't want to do that. So, and also when you put your toothpick in, make sure you put your toothpick in the meat part, not necessarily the fat part. Because when the fat part melts and renders down, it might fall apart. So make sure you try to get your toothpick in the meatiest part of the bacon. Okay? So now that we've got our fillets wrapped, we are going to put them on the cool side of the grill. Okay? We're putting that on the cool side because we want to make sure that that temperature gets up a little bit higher before we really sear it and cook it. If we put it right over the hot side, we would burn the bacon and we'd burn the outside, and we wouldn't get a good internal temperature of 125, 130. So we're gonna start this out right here on the cool side. I'm gonna close the lid. We're gonna let that cook for about 4 minutes on that side. Then we're gonna flip it over. And when we flip it over, that's when we're gonna put our bacon and butter on the grill. All right, so now we've cleaned up a little bit. It's been a couple of minutes since our fillets have been on, so let's turn these over. You can see here how we're rendering a little bit of that fat instead of just searing and cooking right away. Let's flip this over. so we can get a good cook on both sides. There we go. Boy, that looks good. Now let's start our sauce. We might even finish these fillets right in the pan. All right, now we're getting our cast iron pan. We're getting that as hot as we can get it. We're gonna add a little bit of bacon. Get a little bacon going. Get a few pats of butter going. And a little bit of garlic. There we go. If you start the butter in your pan and you have your pan too hot, you're gonna burn the butter. So you wanna bring the butter temperature up, not necessarily slowly, but you don't wanna go into a real hot pan with butter, or else it'll burn and it's gonna affect the flavor of what you're making. So to there, we'll add a little bit of fresh rosemary. I just like add the whole sprig. I just wanna get the flavor of the rosemary in there. And we'll garnish it a little bit after. There we go. Our bacon's starting to crisp. So now we're gonna just sear our steaks. So we're gonna take our steaks. You can see that those are probably about 80 degrees right now. Our bacon's starting to cook. So now we're gonna go just right over the hot part of the grill and really get that nice sear. After about 40 seconds or so, we're gonna turn them about a quarter of a turn, try to get some of those nice sear marks. Okay, so now we'll just turn this about a quarter turn, and then we'll use tongs the rest of the time because that's really hot. The reason you wanna put the rosemary in with the butter and the bacon is all that bacon renders down. It's gonna absorb all of that rosemary flavor. So when you baste this over the top and then pour this over the top, you have this nice crispy bacon with all of that rosemary flavor. Boy, this smells so good. I just wanna eat it just like it is. See, just that little quarter turn, look at those nice hash marks that we got on both of these sides. And as you're cooking here, if you feel like your bacon hasn't cooked enough, feel free to put it right on the side. Again, you want to make sure that you have nice crispy pieces of bacon. Now it's going to flare up quite a bit because all that fat is dripping down. Okay. Once you've got those seared, let's put that right in the cast iron pan. And then your job is just to baste it. You can tilt the pan just a little bit and you're going to baste that right over the top. And while you're basting this with this hot butter and bacon liquid, it's also gonna help crisp all the rest of the outside of your bacon. I'm gonna close this lid and let it cook for about another 2 minutes, and then we're gonna be done. So on these fillets, you're gonna wanna cook those to about 125, 130. You definitely want it more on the medium rare side. I like mine a little bit more on the rare side because you want that tender fillet, that velvety soft, and you get that with the medium rare. All right, so now let's give these a check real quick. We wanna make sure that we don't overcook these. We're gonna wanna cook these to 125, not 94. Now, like we said before, if you're comfortable cooking these just on the grill and having that bacon be crisp enough for you, then you can just do this right on the grill. You just have to be a little bit more mindful of where your heat is and how close your heat is to the actual food. Right now, as you can see, I've got my briquettes right up close to the top. So I've got a lot of heat right at the source. You can pull this down a little bit and it'll cook a little bit longer. If this is your first time, I would recommend leaving it a little bit lower so you have a little bit more forgiveness with your temperature. When you cook with the briquettes really high, you really have to keep an eye on the food that you're cooking because it'll burn pretty quickly. We're leaving them on this side and basting the top because I really like the grill marks that we have on the top. Leaving these in the cast iron on the bottom just gives you a really nice, crispy bottom. Look at that, that's all of that bacon cooking right in there. It gives you that nice Maillard reaction. You've got all of that nice crust. pay big money in the restaurant for that. You can get all of this right in your backyard. So just keep basting, just keep basting. And the fire's pretty hot. So remember what we told you before. Just get yourself a little cloth glove, put that underneath, and then you can put your other gloves right over the top of it, and it gives you about another 10 to 15 degrees to work with. All right, so now when you've cooked these to an internal temperature of about 125, gonna get one more little baste here. You just take this right off the grill. Be careful, it's hot. Cast iron's gonna stay hot for a long time, okay? You can either serve this with the grill marks up, or you can serve it with that beautiful crispy top from the cast iron pan. It's really up to you. So we've got our grill marks here, and you've got fantastic texture. That's what you want, because filet is so soft and velvety and just eats so well. And you've got these grill marks here that provide a little crisp, a little texture. That's why we finished it in the cast iron, because you're gonna have that crispy bottom, so it's gonna give you a little bit more texture there as well. You can serve these on plates. I'm gonna serve them with a couple fresh pieces of rosemary. I might drizzle a little bit of our butter mixture right over the top. As an Italian, sometimes we finish things with a little bit of lemon right over the top. It just kind of brightens up all those flavors. Not too much. You don't want it to be overpowering. And then hit it just with a little bit of finishing salt. And there you go. You've got a bacon wrapped filet mignon for dinner tonight. It wasn't that hard. You saw we did. It was all pretty easy. You just have to make sure you mind your temperatures on the grill and cook that filet to about 125 internal. All right, we're gonna slice in and see how we did here. Look at that. That is money. It looks absolutely fantastic. It tastes even better. I'm Daniel Moznett with Cowboy Charcoal. Make sure you like, follow, and subscribe for these and so many more great recipes. Let us know what you want to cook, because we'll put it on the grill back there for you. Until next week, keep cooking with Cowboy.